My fellow Toastmasters, we're taught to never judge a book by its cover, nor to do so for a person. Now, during COVID-19 and so much unrest in the world, it's a great time for reflection. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about my accomplishments, my history, and my identity. What people see on the outside and what they may think is going on the inside. So let me take you on a chromatic tour of John LeCompte. On the outside, I'm fairly brown, getting browner now that summer has finally arrived. And that's for my Chinese heritage. I'm half Chinese, I'm quarter French and quarter Dutch. So the French and Dutch means that there's some white going on in there too. Well, white describes a lot of the places that I've lived as well, that are predominantly Caucasian. I grew up in West Seattle. I also have lived in Ellensburg, and I've spent summers firefighting in the forests in Idaho. I went to grad school in Colorado. Then, even further afield, I went to Vermont, and now I'm back living in West Seattle. Another association with white for me is I was a white tornado. One of my early jobs, I cleaned motel rooms in Ellensburg because I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't come from a lot of money. And not having money made me green with envy. When I was a kid, we were fairly low income, living across the street from where we live now. I was one of two siblings, children of a single parent who was working. My dad had to juggle his job, but then deal with a couple rapscallion boys, admittedly true. So there was some stress in the home life and not many toys, but I survived that. And from that, I grew a tremendous imagination because a lot of my play was inside my head. I'm also green in the direction that I've taken my career. I've really been drawn to environmental causes the whole way, from my bachelor's degree in environmental engineering to working in renewables and remote power systems. And now I'm working for the electric utility, trying to devise what the future energy system will be. Will it all be our electric grid? Will there be other components to it? It's all focused on trying to be more responsible to our environment and to our planet and lowering our greenhouse gas emissions. But on the pathway to this great career, I had to see a lot of red by working my way up from making very little money to making some pretty good money. So in college, I saw red by fighting forest fires throughout the West. And that was a lot of fun and occasionally pretty scary, but good, honest work. Another red association is that I have a red hot, raging fire inside of me for race and social justice. It gets me steamed when I see oppression and marginalization of communities even happening today. I just think you would think we would know by now. We would have grown. We're not there yet. We're not perfect. So naturally, I'm also Black. And in this day and age, with so much emphasis on Black Lives Matter, yes, I support Black Lives Matter. I am offended that after generations and centuries, that their populations are still struggling with some of these very entrenched behaviors and cultures. I'm also Black by virtue of presently having a black belt in karate. I joined karate because I felt like an oppressed community myself when I was in high school. And so many years later now, I have a black belt. And that means a lot to me. But mainly, it means that when I train, I get a lot of peace out of it. I get to see the world in the microcosm of the dojo. And I also get bruised up from training with partners. And so that means I'm black and blue. So in the blue spectrum, yeah, I would say that generally politically, I tend toward being a Democrat. I more of a centrist Democrat, but I do believe that we have a responsibility. I believe that competition is important, but we have a responsibility to support all and provide a safe place for people. Blue also means that it can stand for being sad. And sometimes I get a little bit bummed out because I feel overwhelmed. I had ADHD as a kid, and now I have ADD. The hyperactivity is mostly down, but I can feel very overwhelmed and scattered because I have all these great thoughts, but they're fleeting. Well, blue also has the association with the UW Huskies, where I got my bachelor's degree of the great blue and gold. That brings us to gold, which I more associate with brass tacks, the color of brass tacks. Both of my degrees are in engineering. I really want to get down to the facts in every case. So with all around inside of me, it's quite a rainbow. By the way, speaking of rainbow, I, yes, do support LGBTQIA populations, and I am supportive and encouraging. Now, if you add all of these colors together, a physicist will tell you that if these are colors of light, they would all come together and result in white. However, they would also tell you if you added all reflective surface, they would come out black. Well, with me, it's more like if I do cooking and I put all these great colors into a dish and I emulsify them, it comes out brown. And that brings us back to where we started. So after all of this reflection, I'm happy to share my pathway toward rejuvenation. And I'm happy to give you a little bit of insight into all of these colors stirring inside of me. And I look forward to see what's inside each of you.
Thank you.